She's a warrior, a survivor, and it's all because of God. She's a teacher and a healer, and it's all because of God. She's sassy, full of fire, with a heart that's made of gold. She will help you build your body, and it's so good for your soul.
Hi, and welcome to Life Unleashed with TLC, your host, Traci Lynn Cowan. What a day in store for us today. I am so fired up. We reunite again. Mr. Jesse Sink, hello, welcome.
Tracy, how are you?
I am so good now that I get to see your face. It's been way too long, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a lot of water under the bridge. Absolutely.
I know. How are you? I mean, it's been a while. I'm not going to tell everybody where you are because then we'd have to kill them. We don't want to do that. So Jesse is not here in Southern California, so we have him on the screen today. But we Jesse and I go way back. You know, I was thinking about it earlier today and before the show, and it's been almost 12 years. Did you know that?
It's been a while. I realized it until I look back. It's been a while, Tracy. Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
we still look pretty good, don't you?
Hey, I'm working on the.
I know, I'm working
It-
on it too. I'm like,
yeah,
I definitely wasn't in I was in way better shape when I saw you last, but, you know
no,
what? We're all a
yeah,
work in progress.
yeah, no, it's just a number, but it seems like every day I'm like trying to keep it low. So, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So just to kind of a recap to let everybody know, Jesse Sink and I have been friends from since the day one, pretty much when I entered into the United States from Canada.
yep,
I came to California and Jesse knew me as a married woman back at that time.
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a good memory for either of us. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well,
However,
it's
you
a
know
challenge.
what? Yeah, but we got to where we are today. How have you been doing? How's life treating you over there?
I'm doing well. I can't
Yeah,
complain,
I
Tracy.
love that.
Been it's been a journey. COVID kind of 90-mile-an-hour curveball. I know that hurt everybody a little bit.
Right,
Uh, I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm grateful. Been through a lot, but
right.
it's you know, a test sets you up for testimony. So you just got to keep going.
I love that. I
Yeah,
haven't heard that before. A test sets you up for a testimony. You
yeah,
know, we have been through a lot together and we're going to have to unpack a lot within this time frame. So, I want to go back and let's go further back and let's go before pre meeting TLC. So
yeah.
the thing was is Jesse, let's talk about your experience what happened to you years and years ago and just share with the audience. I mean, you have been through some adversity. I mean, that's not even a word to explain it. So let's go back to the day that you had your accident, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go back there. So I was to everybody on here. I was born in Ohio, and I grew up on the farm. And at 21 years old, I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to go be something. Um, did construction for a little bit after that, and then I moved to New York City. And in New York City, I picked up high fashion and fitness modeling because I loved fitness. It's always been an outlet. Um, Never got anything negative out of going to a workout, that's for sure. So being that I'm in New York doing modeling and acting, and I did a little bit of catering on the side actually. And when you're catering, you're working late at night, working with servers. And I was catering one night. This is about 2 o'clock in the morning. We finished up catering, and one of my managers, he's like, "Hey, do you want to go and have a drink with me at the bar, before you go home?" And I was like, "Yeah." At the time, I was like, "Yeah, I'm open for it. I'll go have a drink with you." So we went to the bar and sat down with him. We were just collaborating and talking. There was like four of his friends there, and it got a little uncomfortable for me, Tracy. And so I was like, "All right, I think I'm just going to go home." Um, there's not a lot of time until the train would actually leave Penn Station because it actually departs at 3 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
From 3 to 6, it didn't run, I believe, at the time. And so I just felt uneasy. And he's like, "Hey, take one more shot really quick before you go, would you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I took it. And then I was like, "Hey, guys, I'm going to leave." And I took off for Penn Station. And it's about a 15-minute run from where I'm at to Penn Station. And I get down to Penn Station, and it's like somebody shot me up with morphine. I was just like dizzy, could see the TV, couldn't hardly walk down the escalator to get to the train station. Well, what apparently had happened, somebody had slipped something in my drink that night. So I end up on the the catwalk of the train at Penn Station, and I think I was out for like 45 minutes, I believe they said. And I woke up there trying to reconnect and figure out where I'm at. And I realized I was laying on top of the train car. And that's like, that would probably be a criminal defense if you got caught up there. And I was like, it kind of gathering my thoughts. And I thought, well, I should probably get off of here. I don't think I should be up here. So I grabbed a hold of a rod about the size of your pinky to the right of me.
Mhm.
And it was connected with 13,800 volts to the tracker line. So basically what happened is it just killed me. It's like the 4th of July went off. I did burn alive
Jeez.
for probably like 3 minutes.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, I know this is hard to talk about, and I really appreciate you sharing this story with us because I know you've been through so much, and I can't even imagine surviving such a thing. And just take as much time as you need.
It's all right. It's something that changed your whole identity. And so it took me um, probably 3 years to actually accept the fact that what I went through. But after I woke up, um, I actually had a vision. Because when it electrocuted me, of course, it would have killed me. So I had a vision, and I do like to explain that it was beautiful. Like it talks about it actually. If you actually YouTube visions of heaven,
Hmm.
I had actually identical visions of some of those videos. It's really cool. So I went through this tunnel, and I came out of a tunnel, and there's like a big gate, and then there's like two doves, and it's like one of the visions that a lot of people that actually pass away and have like a passing, they actually see that, and it was really cool. So um, being able to see that, and then it was enough electricity at 13,800. Obviously, it would defibrillate your heart. So I woke back up, and just to like feel yourself burning on top of a train car is not the best experience. I couldn't let go of it because it's three phase. So I grabbed hold of the edge of the train car and actually fell 8 feet on the concrete. Um, there's a guy that saw me in the video because actually they told me when it happened, it sounded like a cannon went off because it would have been a direct. Um, it'd be like touching the power line outside of your house, basically. It's pretty
Right.
much.
It's like an explosion almost,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
So it was
And were you on fire at this point, Jesse, so we
yeah,
can
yeah,
let our viewers and
yeah.
listeners
I'm
kind of
burning, and
understand?
I actually had a nylon backpack on my back that always carried my clothes and stuff. So when I got to work, I could change.
Hmm.
And that thing started melting across me. So I started pulling it off, and it's just pulling my skin off. So there's nothing left but like your bone. It's just like raw meat. And the guy came up with a fire extinguisher, and he like put me out, and I kind of passed out, and I end up sitting up against what is the staircase that goes up the escalator. There's like a wall
Hmm.
where I had fell off of the train car. I actually sat up against the wall, and that was a horrible experience because I had pulled the backpack off and there was no skin on my back, so it was just like
Oh,
rubbing raw meat on top of the. It was a brick on top of the brick, and so I kind of leaned forward, and then I was in and out of consciousness for a little bit, and then I look up, and there's a whole escalator full of like probably like 6 or 7 different fire departments they called out at that time, and the ambulance. Long story short about this. So I ended up getting on the stretcher, and I was in and out. The last thing I remember hearing while I'm in the ambulance on the way to the hospital is we have a 21-year-old, possibly homeless guy that got burned, 60% burns to his upper body. And I'm like, 60% burns? Like, I'm trying to process it. I'm like,
right.
I still hadn't figured out that I got burnt because my body was still in so much shock till I got to the hospital. They had enough morphine in me. I didn't know like exactly what was going on. So I ended up getting in the hospital, and they incubated me in a coma right away, drug induced me, and they gave me 2 days to live at that point. When I got to the hospital, they was like, "He won't live any more than probably a couple days." So they ended up taking up my cell phone out of the pocket, and they flipped it open, and it happened to be the first number on the phone was my dad. So they just called my dad. Well, you can imagine what my dad thought when he gets the phone call, and he's like, "Hey, your son here, we can't really recognize him at the bottom of his feet, but it says it's Jesse Sink. Could you come and check?" And like, that's not the best news for your father to get.
No.
And I couldn't imagine what my dad was going through at that time, trying to process, like, he's what?
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up incubated in a coma. I made it through the 2 days. My dad showed up, and he actually had to identify me to make sure that, his father's son.
Wow.
He had to like check everything out and look, and then um, that's when they actually would like start deep breathing you and incubate you. And I do remember 10 days in, they kind of brought me out because they would have done a tracheotomy.
Okay.
They kind of bring you out, and I remember seeing the lights inside the surgery room, and then it kind of went black again. And the next thing I remember is 2 months later, they started bringing me back, and I started having withdrawals, which has been like horrible nightmares and like cold shimmers and everything that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember the calendar coming up. The first thing I remember opening my eyes, I look at the calendar and it said February 28th. And this
Okay.
happened. This happened on December 3rd.
Wow. Okay, so let's stop there a little bit. So you hear 60% burns to your entire body. And did it at that point, had you seen yourself? Were you able to see yourself, or was it
Uh,
burns to your face, or?
no, I didn't even know it. I thought they were actually just completely full of it because I had a shirt on, I had a backpack on, but the fact that um, from my waist up had caught on fire, and it actually had burnt part of my face, and I had inhaled flames for a little bit because it's static electricity. So I was actually
Yeah.
breathing some of the flames that were coming off of stuff. There would have been like inhalation and stuff like that that would have hit me.
Mhm.
And it had knocked me out enough that I didn't absorb what they were saying. And it was like sound bites,
Okay.
like everything they were saying, but I just saw 60% male. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I had to put the pieces together and understand that they're like, this guy's probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
So
And I can't even imagine what that's like to hear, because your body's in shock, you're in shock, and you're just you don't even understand at this point. They think you're homeless because of the situation, and I'm sure, I mean, you
we would
can't
have thought,
speak, you can't defend yourself or anything like this at this point too. I mean, that
you would
must
have
have
thought
been horrible.
someone, if you see someone with just a backpack in their stuff and they're burnt like that, it would look like a homeless person. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
Um, I was unrecognizable. I mean, it had burnt all the hair off my face and most of it off my head, everything.
Let's talk about
But
the injuries that you sustained. So let's talk about where the burns were, and any other significant injuries that you sustained in your accident.
yeah, so um, it did mess with my memory, my balance, big time. Because your neurological system would have been
Yeah.
just fried. It's like
Hmm.
taking it's like taking a low volt motor and plugging it into 220 and expecting it to work.
Right.
It just burns it. So my central nervous system was completely shot,
Yeah.
and my thermostat was broke. My body couldn't tell if it was hot or cold. I had no idea because your skin is what it uses to monitor your outside. It's your thermostat.
Hmm.
Um, on top of that, when I woke up out of my coma, I wasn't strong enough to even sit up in bed. I'd been laying for 2 months, so you don't have enough strength to. I couldn't even hardly move my legs.
Right.
Um, so they sit me up, and I happened to notice, like, look down. I couldn't even hardly move my neck, but I looked down and I could notice that, like, my arm was gone. And it took me 2 days of sitting on that. Like, I didn't say anything for 2 days. I was really quiet. And then finally, mom walked in the room and she's like, do you understand? And I was like, I was in it, and it just kind of fell apart from there. And I was like, why'd they cut it? And they're like, well, it was burnt. It was burnt too bad. It had got gangrene from the end of the fingers,
Mm.
um, like 7 inches up the arm, because it had burnt it to the bone marrow. So basically,
Right.
I had to just take it off so it doesn't. I mean, it would have just got my bloodstream and took it out.
And
So
they amputated it from the elbow down, is that correct?
yeah, so it's 4 inches below the elbow on the right arm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
mean, I'm just thinking of your mom at this time too. I mean, trying to be strong. I mean, I know as a woman and having a son myself, I don't know if I could even handle that emotion and just trying to be strong for your kid at the same time. I mean, how was that? I mean, experience with your family as well.
Yeah, it's something that I actually sat down with my mother after I could finally think straight, and
Mm.
I said, "How did you feel?" Because I actually blue coded 45 minutes a month into my incubation.
Mhm.
So I was out for 45 minutes, and they were doing CPR on me on and off the whole time, which is like that's just crazy. They kept fighting. Um, I said, "What went through your head? Like, what were you thinking at that time?" And she goes, "Well, she goes, I knew if you'd made it that far, she goes, God wouldn't take you then." She's like, "Look what you just did." She's like, "You burned." You know what I mean? Like, so I, she, I don't know. Women are very, very strong.
We are
Yeah,
definitely. I'm
very,
so glad that you had the support of your family because I mean, being through that experience and having people that are, loving and nurturing and caring and, obviously take care of you at that point. And it sounds like you had a really good hospital staff as well that was there to support you through that as well.
absolutely. I did.
Yeah.
I had some of the best staff, and I think my dad sends them a little bag of peanuts to the hospital every year for like the nurses, because some of them have been there for like 35 years. And
Wow.
yeah, I went back and took pictures with them, and I actually walked through the rooms I was in, just like stood there, and I remember just like, man, I couldn't even. It deja vu on 10 different levels.
It was a beautiful experience in that regard. So, I mean, was there a point where you were just like, "I don't wanna go through this, like, just God take me," or how did you
Yeah,
feel? Did you
so
feel that at any point?
yeah, so this is when they were fighting with me to get me to walk, and it
Mhm.
took much energy, and it was so painful because my body had just like ate itself alive. I was 200 when I went in, and 143 when I woke up. So
Wow.
like 6'2" at 143. That's not. There's nothing really left. Like you just see your cheekbones, you see your rib cage, and the body, because the body is like fasting. Like the body would just kept eating itself.
Right.
Um. So yeah, it was a pretty ugly experience.
And the burns, it didn't it also it was pretty much from the neck down? I mean, do you have burns on your face
Yeah,
as well?
it's like from lower my jaw, right under my jaw, on the right side, and then down to my waist. But it didn't burn all the left side. Um,
Interesting. And
yeah.
how did you feel when I mean, when you first looked at yourself and you could see the extent of the damage on your body? Were
Um,
you just mortified? Like, how did you feel?
Probably more or less in shock. Just
Yeah.
looking in the mirror and just, um, my eyes were still blue, and I was like, okay, those are my eyes. So obviously this is me, because I was still like accepting the fact that it even happened. It was about a month and a half afterwards. I would still wake up in the morning and still think I was dreaming, and sit up in bed and pinch myself and touch myself,
Mm,
and like, this is not real. This is not real. Like,
right.
it took a minute just to even accept the fact that I was alive and awake and trying to um, absorb. Um, I mean, you
Right.
go from where I was to someone that's completely unidentifiable. It's
Right. You're
I
here
had,
modeling, fitness modeling. You're at the peak of your career, your age, you're 21, just moved from a small town to New York. You're killing it in the game and this happens. And I mean, I just can't imagine how much of a just detour in life. I mean, you just can't get any worse than that, really.
Yeah, it's bad, and that's something that I go back and I have a bad day, and I don't like to go back there, but if I go back and think about it, it makes your day look a whole lot better for sure.
You have such a good attitude. You've had one. I mean, since I've known you, you've gone through so much. And how does one survive that amount of pain on a daily basis? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been in pain since my car accident, and I feel bad complaining about that. How did you survive through that pain, Jesse, on a daily basis?
Um, I actually was on a lot of painkillers for I think like 3 years after
Hmm.
ibuprofen painkiller, and after a while, your central nervous system just kind of becomes it's in shock. um, Stuff has to desensitize, and all those little nerve endings that are coming through the new skin that they put on, like that stuff grows back, and it takes like 6 7 years or more. It takes a long time, so your body's just all tingly. um, it was weird. It was like menopause. Like I would get hot and cold and hot and cold and sweat all the time, and then I would get freezing cold because my body was still trying to figure out, like, okay, what temperature is it? Do I need to warm up? And it had just caught on fire and burned, and so it's still in fight or flight, trying to figure out, like, it's
Hmm.
the doctors told me, is like, dude, you're gonna feel really really messed up for a while, like just wrecked, and it was
Right.
true. It's true.
How long was the rehabilitation process? I mean,
Um,
I'm sure is it never ending? I mean, I'm sure you still have.
there was, of course, there's an ending. There's an end to it. It just, the first most extensive one was 9 months,
Mhm.
and then the one after that was just follow up for like 3 years.
Right.
And I went through 7 years of grafting. Like I would go in, cut, add skin, because it doesn't stretch like your normal skin, so they have to add
Right.
skin, and then you have to stretch that out. And
How
me.
can we talk about that a little bit? I mean, I don't know if anybody else. I find the human body fascinating, but how do you so grafting it so you take it from one healthy place on your body and then you attach it to the injured part and then it basically like how does that work?
Yeah, the human body's very
It's fascinating. I mean, it's just
resistant,
remarkable.
very resistant. It goes through a lot, comes back.
Yeah.
Um, what you do is they take what is like a cheese slicer. It looks kind of like a cheese slicer,
Mm.
and they go in. They take off the first layer of your entire skin, all the way down to like the nerves. Basically, is what they do, and they take off that whole entire. And it's a patch about 4 inches wide.
And is this the healthy skin or is this
Yeah,
the
yeah.
damaged? Okay.
No, this is healthy, nice skin. And then
Oh.
they'll cut off patches of it, and they put it in a stretcher, and they stretch it and get more um like length and width out of it, and then they run it through and perforate it. They put little perforate, like little pokies in it,
Right.
take, and they staple it to you. They don't so they literally staple it. So they stapled me up. I was stapled together all the way up the side, all the way down through the center. Like there was all these staples, and it took 5 years later, I was still taking staples out in the shower and pulling them, popping them out. I'm like, there's another one.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't imagine dealing with that amount of pain and just the emotional just evolvement of that as well because not only physically do you feel these changes and going through this amount of pain, but you're also emotionally going through this as well. I mean, how did you keep your emotional mind stable in order for you not to just want to drop off?
Um, First of all, I was tired, so I slept a lot more.
Hmm.
Your body's
That was
healing,
healing.
and the only way I'm going to heal is when I sleep.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, you would think I would had enough sleep after sleeping for 2 months, right?
Well, that was kind of a forced sleep. So, you
uh,
know, yeah.
yeah. So I would sleep for 12 to 18 hours a day,
Wow.
and wake up and eat and then sleep again. I was literally just healing, 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 and it let my brain heal because it had basically short fried every neuron in my brain. Um,
Mhm.
I could hardly remember anything. Like I'd have to say it 10 times to remember it.
Yeah.
Um, I had a terrible time remembering names. I kind of had to relearn, like, I could write words, but it was just I had to think about what I was writing. It was really weird. Just
Yeah.
things were like in slow motion.
Right. When did
And
that start to get a little better for you?
about a year after the accident, because I started exercising. First thing I did was exercising and just got the blood flowing, and I kept working out. I mean, I know it's talk about a lot, but I just worked out. I kept working out, and they're like, "What?" And I would find ways to tie something to my arm and train it. Um,
I've been witness to that, and we have a lot of stories of some fun stuff in the gym. We will have to pull up that picture when we put this episode up, and of you with that gadget at the gym that day.
oh, that's
So
always good.
always fun. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you guys, we've got Jesse Sink here that's been literally shocked to death, and he's hitting it in the gym a year later. And I have people that I can't enforce to go to the gym, on a daily basis that are healthy and feeling good. That is so remarkable. Did you feel extra pain because now your skin's tight, and I can't even, I mean, I'm just assuming from what you've shared with us. How was that? Because you're, obviously breaking down the muscle fiber. So was it more pain now that you're going back to the gym and pushing it as hard as you did or do?
Um, at times, yeah, because my nerves were still desensitizing on my arm, and so when you put anything on it, you'd feel like somebody's just poking tacks in it. So, just working through that. But I think at the point, uh, I think I was angry enough that it happened.
Mhm.
I
Right.
was pissed off that actually happened to me. I mean, I'm not trying to get sympathy or anything. It's just at the point, I'm just why me
Right.
that I went in and just like murdered myself basically when I worked out, and I was just trained really hard, and like some of the skin would tear, like it would tear sometimes, and it was terrible, painful. Um, but I was the point where they told me, they're like, if you stretch it, it's going to be painful,
Mhm.
and they're right. It's terrible, painful. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but when it did break, it would sound like a rubber band when you grab it and you just pop it. That's what
Oh,
it's like. It would snap, and I'll be like, oh, there goes another piece, and it's just like just had to. And when I go in for surgery, they would always like patch it or clean it up or something, but
right.
it's a mess. It's like training inside. Oh man, you know those black things that some of the females wear, the
Oh, the
sweatsuits.
sweatbands?
It's like taking one of those and
Oh,
just have
the the
pull on
Velcro?
like, all the way up around your neck
Oh, geez.
in your chest,
Wow.
that, and it's like you try to move, and it's like at that point they hadn't operated on some of the stuff on my neck, and so it's still short. So you're almost like stuck like this. You try to straighten it, and it's just like a rope.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's a lot of. I was just frustrated to the point I was just like, I'm just going to keep pulling at it and stretching it. And
Yeah.
uh, I smelled like coconut for 5 years because I put coconut oil on it all the time. I would just take coconut oil, like organic coconut oil and stuff, and put on it and just keep it wet all the time so that it could at least stretch, like
Yeah.
somehow.
Wow. And how many surgeries do you believe that you've had over the years?
I think it was for 14 or 15 plastic surgeries.
Wow.
Yep.
And what are some of your other coping skills through this, Jesse? I mean, and till today too, because I mean, this is kind of one of those things I can imagine and only can imagine that you're
Yeah.
still, kind
Yeah.
of coping with it.
Yeah. Well, one of the big ones is prayer and meditation. I
Amen.
I like it's a good thing. And on top of that is stay active, like stay busy,
Hmm.
uh, be of service to those around you. Like wake up in the morning and be like, okay, what can I do today? And
Right.
think about yourself is, you know what I mean? Just being more selfless and humble, empathy.
Right.
it takes a process, and I had a lot of anger I had to work through. I admit that I had a lot of anger and resentment and I was even pissed at God for a while, just angry, and I knew that wasn't correct, but I had to get through. I had to go through that emotion. You have your
Mhm.
7 emotions that you go through when you have a traumatic accident. You do, and you think, oh no, I'm not going to hit those two, and you do.
Right.
It it's just it's the body the way it deals with it.
Mhm.
Um, I
Right.
still I still deal with a little bit of central nervous system issues.
Mhm.
Um, I have found out that I've been ice bathing lately,
Okay. And how's
and
that?
it's been helping.
Okay.
I'm
Nice.
I do it religious, like try to pretty religiously if I can, and
Right.
sit 40 degrees or that's enough.
Right.
On and off, sometimes I'll do it 2 or 3 times
Do you
between.
find that you're extra sensitive? I mean, I know you can't really compare it to other
Um,
people, but can you compare it to what you felt like before when you were 21 and before the accident?
yeah. So when I get into the ice bath, my body goes into complete shock because it's the complete opposite of what happened clear
Mhm.
back in 2006, right?
Right.
It feels like pins and needles. It hurts terrible for a second.
Mm.
It and more of like the upper, like it's so bad, like I can hardly even sit in there. And then after about the first minute, it goes numb, and something takes over. Enough, it's so calming. It's
Right.
weird. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I'll get back out and go in the steam room, and it's like it puts you into like a robot. You just kind of you just it's different.
Mm.
And I've been finding that that does help. Like I've always
Mhm.
heard, I take cold showers, but getting in an ice cold bathtub, like jumping in cold, it's like a crazy rush
It
in doing.
hurts me just being, like
I mean,
this.
but it gets to the point where those 2 seconds of pain to reset your neurotransmitters and
Mhm.
like help, it's good for you too. I mean, if you do it before,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know the cold plunges and the ice baths and everything like that are incredible for you. Yes, ever since my accident too, I haven't been able to go back in because not yet, but I will. Just because again, the same thing with the nervous system and having a brain injury and having nerve damage and things like that. It's for me, I can't go too hot or too cold because it throws me right over the edge.
yeah.
My thermostat, I'm not in menopause, but I have that thermostat issue as well because my hypothalamus was damaged when
Oh wow.
I snapped my neck back. And ever since surgery, a couple of 4 and 5 months now, wow, time's flying by. It's starting to get a little bit better, but that regulation of the temperature, it's like I feel like I go too over the edge and then I can't come back. It's like, too hot or too cold is not good. I have a question. I think about this with your accident. Why do you think you survived that day?
That's a good question, and I think I have an answer for it because I've answered similar questions. Um, I feel like my sole purpose is to go around and give people. There's a lot of people that are hurting. There's a lot of people going through stuff, and not just being a motivational person, but someone that's like, I would be a fool if I didn't believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
And there's been times in my younger life where I was like, I was doubtful,
Mm,
like I had some problems at home, your childhood, and there's some times I thought, man, for real, like is it, like I didn't really know what to believe in. And when I was on fire for 3 minutes, one of the things that shocked me is like, they talk about heaven and hell and making good decisions, and I thought, man, I really feel like my purpose is to speak and tell people and be like, hey, you know probably not a good idea to be out, drinking with your friends sometimes late. And one of the big things is if you believe in God, there's a God, because I've died and I've saw the other side, and I've
mm,
came back and I said, if what they call hell is real, I said burning for eternity probably wouldn't be one of the nicest things to deal with, because I said I felt that for 3 minutes, and it's probably one of the worst ways to go ever.
mm.
And I thought maybe that is my purpose, to tell people, be like, hey, Like it's for real. Our walk in life is to figure out, who your higher power is. And I said, I call mine God. Um,
Yeah. Amen
they're
to that.
great now.
Yeah, I know, we've had some major discussions over the years. I know we haven't seen each other for a few years, and we've just kind of been going through our own processes in life. And what were some of the struggles for you that you went through that came from having this accident
Um,
besides the anger?
Having to accept the fact that I had to do everything left-handed and I was right-hand dominant. I think that was a big kicker. Um, like, I mean, it's, I never really used my left hand. I never thought about it, but,
Mhm.
when I had to eat, like I would about break my teeth out just because the spoon would go in the side and it was crazy. It was weird. And I was still so weak, like it was even hard for me to hold a spoon in my hand, which sounds ridiculous,
No,
but
I get it. I can
it just
imagine.
taken the life clear out of me.
Mm.
And so I had to learn to do that. And then to get the strength to, like, button your pants, put your, oh, this is crazy. I actually had this little, handle that I would hold on to that had a hook that would go through your shirt and grab the button, and you'd pull the button through because I couldn't physically actually put the button through with my, you know what I mean?
Wow. How
I,
long have you had a prosthetic for?
since 2010.
Yeah, because I remember and you kept
Yeah.
breaking them at well, I shouldn't tell your insurance company that, but he kept breaking them at the gym and, oops, don't let them hear that. But, and I remember there would be
Yeah.
some times where you wouldn't have your prosthetic on and we'd throw it well, you would throw it on the ground as a joke and do all these tricks when we are in the gym. Remember when you hooked it on to one of the pull downs for the lat pull down
Oh
and you
yeah.
kept it there? And then you walked away and people were like, "What the heck is that?" And
It
then that
really is.
spider machine.
It really is hysterical seeing the look on their face because if you look at it from a distance, it sort of looks kind of like your other arm, but if you just kind of glance at it, and then as soon as he takes it off and leaves it dangling, it just sends you into a whole nother.
I love that you had some, sense of humor around it, and we always played tricks and just kinda had a good time with it when we were working out together, and, I enjoyed that part of you, and, the hard part is that when we go through things like this, after taking morphine and being highly medicated for that long, how is it to transition off of all those drugs and medication into being, pain free or with pain and being narcotic free?
Um, that's a good question. After a while, my receptors didn't really pick up
Mm.
the painkiller anymore. We all know how it goes when your body has something; it takes more and more and more.
Yeah.
And when I was in a coma, they gave me 25% more of all the drugs that they used to induce me than they ever gave anybody ever. And they said I was going to have brain damage and probably not be able to talk and stuff like that. That's how
Mm.
much they were shoving through me. Because for some reason, my body is built and I metabolize stuff so fast, it doesn't matter really what it is. And I was taking up to probably, I don't need to say, but I was taking way too many Oxycontin and morphine and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
Dilaudid, and um, the point that my body was just flooded with it. And it was a lot of sweating. That's another thing. I would go to the gym because I felt toxic. Like I felt really toxic. I just felt
Mhm.
just down and moody. It makes you moody.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember that after my neck surgery and after the car accident.
Felt good.
I wasn't used to taking that much medication, but I just felt puffy and just like squishy and watery. But I felt like you said toxic, and and you just don't feel good, and you're just unhappy with that because we're so used to being healthy and feeding ourselves good nutritious food, being lean and good shape, and then all of a sudden you're poisoning your body with this stuff, and the pain's still there on top of it. So that's hard to get through.
Well, I think you and I both know what it feels like to feel good, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you don't feel
100%.
good, you're like, "Hey, this isn't right." Like this
Yep.
don't feel. And when you're in so much pain, you're going to take something so that the not feel good is still better than what it could feel like if you didn't take it. So you're going
Right.
to. right? But once you
Yeah.
get to a point where it's not working anymore and you're just flooding and feeling toxic, then you quit. So I got to the point where I actually just started taking more of the pain. I just kind of let it go, and my body actually, it finally after a while, it started to shut up and just back off and quit.
Okay.
And my arm went from shocking me so bad it would put me in fetal position on the floor for 2 minutes to just like tingling to I'm so grateful. I don't have any pain now. I don't. Like my
Oh,
arm
wow.
about it. Like I climbed a tree yesterday for my landlord and trimmed this tree with a chainsaw yesterday. And it's just like the landlord sitting looking at me. He's like, "You're insane, dude. You really?"
You are a
I
miracle, insane in a good way. And I can you know what I one of the biggest things I love about you is your resiliency and just how resilient you are because I mean, Jesse, bodybuilder, he went from being completely burned alive and, being in a coma for months, repairing, having healthy skin put on the unhealthy skin, and then going into the gym and putting your body through all of that, going through all the pain and all the discipline of eating healthy, going into the gym. I used to see you in there every day, the sauna, doing all that, and then competing in bodybuilding. How did you push yourself to that level, Jess? Like, because that's remarkable. I mean, that is incredible.
the gym got addicting for me. So I mean,
Mhm.
I was I was going religiously 6 times a week, and it was fun after a while. Like when I finally
Mhm.
started feeling better and I started eating, and I was eating those like the whole pack of weight gainers, stuff
Oh,
like
I
that.
remember.
It was ridiculous, but it's true. Feed your body and it will grow if you train it right. And eventually, I mean, it was like 7, 8 years of consistency. This
Yeah.
takes a while. You have to be very patient, especially when you're dealing with an imbalancement on the body. Like you
Mhm.
don't train like everyone else. And so
Yeah.
if you work out this side too hard, it starts really tweaking stuff. And um, I mean, going through it, I had to do follow up massages and stuff just to keep things straight. Lots of
Right.
lots of therapy. I still did therapy. I still do therapy on my right side. Just stuff to
Okay.
keep it strong.
Yeah.
Because they had to take so much off at the time that it was burnt. Um, and after a while, I had someone comment. They're like, "Okay, dude, this is actually true." Some guy came up to me in the gym and he goes, "Hey, kid, man," he's like, "How long have you been doing this?" And I was like, 10 years. He goes, "Nah, forget that." And he just walked away, and I was like, oh, "Okay, whatever."
You're like, "That's a
And
compliment, thank you." I
yeah,
mean, you look
I mean, that's
phenomenal and
my point. And just like this took time,
yeah.
like a long time. And then the guy that actually did my diet plan for one of my first major professional bulks that I did to
Mhm.
actually get serious about it, and you eat on time every day, you get to bed. I mean, I did it
Right.
religious. I mean, like Phil Heath would do it or something. I just was like, this is it. I'm done. I'm going to see what it does. And I felt really, really good. I started
Mhm.
recovering. Um, Memory starts coming back. I started feeling healthy. I started lifting even harder. And that's the point. I actually started getting my strength back fast enough that I picked up powerlifting, and I was doing powerlifting, and it
You're
just
amazing.
crazy stuff. And it was the point where once somebody commented at me, oh, it was my nutritionist. He goes, "You do me a favor?" And I said, "What?" "Depends on what it is." He's like, "Why don't you do a men's physique show?" And he's like, just use your prosthetic and just go for it. And I was like, dude, come on. I was like, I can't compete against those guys. And he's like, no, I mean, he's like, I don't think it will be so much about your size if you just get your symmetry right and get lean enough.
Mhm.
So I did what he told me, and I ended up getting second place at that. And like I was so amateur, I had no clue what I was doing. But the fact that I got a number and got in there and got something, um,
That
that
is
fueled, that
amazing.
fueled my fire. And then I just went on to do a couple more. I did
Yeah.
it at BFF. It was good. I actually turned 40 this year, and
Oh,
so
happy 40th. The big
my
40. How's it feel?
are getting a little. I got to take a different stance on my training, but
You look
it's
great though.
thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a number, but You know,
So what's next in life? Where are you going now? What's Tell me a little bit about what Jesse Sink is going to be doing in the next 5 years.
well, I don't want to give all of that out, but one of the big things is speaking. I actually want to start into doing speaking and actually get consistent at it and
Good.
get back and actually, um, tell this story, shine a light,
Yeah.
probably help a lot of people.
It will
Uh,
help a lot of people, not probably.
think I
100%.
I know what it feels like to have nothing and you can't even move, and you have people taking care of everything for you. So I know what it feels like to be at the worst, and I know what it feels like to feel good. And
Yeah.
I think not everybody has the willpower in them to keep going.
Right.
Um, I mean, I really I really shouldn't be here, so I do realize that. But I look at it and I'm like, man, I can either be miserable or I can make it good. It's really at that point it's a choice, sort of. So it's not worth being miserable. I can't
Yeah.
stand people that are just miserable all the time. I'm like, there's always something in your day to be positive about. Like there has to be, you know?
Exactly. Having that gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is the one thing that literally keeps me alive because, I just keep listening to my audios and keep reinforcing and reading and learning. And I think that's the biggest thing too when you go through traumatic injuries and things like that, and you go through such significant pain. I mean, I'm not comparing mine to you because definitely is
There's
not even close.
so
But, like dealing with a traumatic brain injury and not knowing what it was, I was having these anger issues and outbursts, and I was so confused and losing my memory and, not being able to locate words and things like that.
it's
And
I understand. Yeah. And people think you like I would actually talk to people and forget what I was saying, couldn't remember what I was saying.
Mhm.
And that still happens, shoot. But it
Right.
happens so much that people are like, man, you okay?
I
I
know people are
I
like that.
actually like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. I think.
I'm like, "I'm not really sure." It's funny because I'm coming out about it now because people
Yeah.
didn't really see me, and I wasn't obviously doing podcasts, I wasn't working, and I wasn't
Yeah.
leaving the house and having a lot of surgeries and stuff, and now people are like, "Oh, okay, she had a traumatic brain injury, no wonder she was weird, like, crazy like that."
And that's
Because I look back at it and I don't really remember a lot of the conversations, and I don't really remember interactions. I just know that, I blew through some friendships. Well, some that I needed to blow through, but I also blew through some I think that maybe could have stayed, but it's all in God's timing, all God's grace. So for me, it's just like, okay, well, the people that matter, and we know this because we've stuck through it. We've been friends for a long time, over 12 years now. And
yeah.
the thing is we're going to have these ups and downs and these setbacks, and whether they're anger issues, whatever we're struggling with or whatever we're going through, if, a friendship's meant to be, which this is, then we always circle back. And that's why I was so excited to have you here and have you share your
Thank
story so you can get back out on those speaking gigs and stuff like that. Cause I know you were big doing that before. I'm excited for that for you. So, yeah,
Yeah, thank you. It takes a bit to get used to it, and um, it's not easy. It's not
right.
easy. You gotta learn to suck at something long enough till you're good at it to get through that part.
Right, but the thing is, like you said in the beginning too, it's about getting out of yourself and being able to serve others. And I believe that I was spared in my accident too because God wasn't finished with me and I still have some more work to do. And I just
Yeah,
opened up my small healing and wellness office, and
that's
I'm excited to be able to help other people and heal and help them get through mental health issues, also physical issues. And we just keep pushing forward and we're being of service, and that's what we're here for. So I'm so grateful that you're still here. I'm so grateful that we circled back and we have this friendship that's unbreakable. Absolutely 100%.
I agree. I agree. It
Yeah,
shows you
I totally,
your friends.
appreciate you.
Back at you, Tracy. I'm serious. It shows who your friends are for real.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, we went through a lot in the beginning, and you had my back during, my divorce and all the hell that I went through there. So thank you for that. Thank you for having my back through that. And we're gonna do another
That was
segment.
bad.
I
Yeah.
want Jesse to share with us where we can find him on social media so that we can, follow your future speaking engagements and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. So you can follow me on Facebook at Jesse Sink.
Okay.
Um, Instagram, it's Bionic Jesse. And then on Twitter is just Jesse Sink as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, thank
Beautiful.
you.
And Jesse's Jesse. All
Yeah.
right. So I like to share one little kind of a golden nugget that you share with people just to keep yourself going and motivated every single day. How can people be motivated every single day just by, just one thing that you think that you can share with people?
One thing I can share with people is don't focus on yourself so much every day. Focus on what
Mm,
you can do for others. Wake up and be like, God, what can I do for someone else today? Because I know I've had many days where you have chronic depression or you don't feel good.
yeah.
And it's those days you really don't want to get up. Just be like, okay, I don't feel like doing this, but what do you want from me today? What can I do today for someone else? Because I always feel better when I do something for somebody when I don't feel like I can do anything for myself sometimes.
Amen to that.
Purpose is around you. And there's time to take time for yourself to sit in a
Yeah.
quiet place, you know, just sit for a minute. But
Mhm.
at the most, just try to help each other. Just make the world a better place while we're here.
That's right. I love
Yeah.
that. And I love that about you. You have a good attitude, Jesse. And congratulations on all your successes. I know you've been through a lot and you just keep pushing, my friend. And I know you've got big things ahead. And let's make sure that we stay connected. I look forward to the next episode. And I'm definitely going to give you a call so we can share in some more experiences and stories. Hopefully, we'll be able to post some of the funny pictures that we've had together in the gym and people can kind of see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Love you, my friend. And until next time, thanks for watching, you guys. You can follow me at Life Unleashed with TLC on my podcast. You can also find me at TLC Unleashed on all my social media handles and Traci Lynn Cowan on Facebook. And we'll see you weekly for my weekly show. Thanks for being here. And thanks, Jesse. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Tracy. See you.
Bye.
She's a warrior, a survivor, and it's all because of God. She's a teacher and a healer, and it's all because of God. She's sassy, full of fire, with a heart that's made of gold. She will help you build your body, and it's so good for your soul.